Kai, have you seen Farcaster on your Twitter feed at all this week? Nobody's talking about Farcaster, right? Farcaster's blowing up right now. It's all the rage. It's all the talk. They've hit all-time highs in daily active users. I got a chart up on the screen right now if you're watching on YouTube, and this thing is just parabolic since the start of February, when it literally was, they were hovering around like probably 3,000 daily active users. And then over the last basically week, they've gone to over 40,000 daily active users. Just absolutely nuts. A lot of people are saying that maybe this is because of Farcaster Frames. I don't think so yet. Like, yes, Farcaster Frames is super exciting. We talked about that in last week's roll-up. We also released a newsletter. So if you want to learn more about what is Farcaster Frames, go check out that newsletter. We'll link to it in the show notes. But I think the main reason here is two things. One, Farcaster last week announced that they were free in the US, and then this week announced that they were free in, I don't even remember the exact countries, but about 10 other leading countries. So Farcaster used to be $5 per year. It's not a tremendous amount to pay for, but that does limit a lot of degens and also, unfortunately, a lot of bots from coming in. And now that they're open for free, you're going to have a lot more degens and, unfortunately, a lot more bots coming in. And so that is what is leading to this rise. Also, Farcaster has now a incentive program where you can get degen, funny I'm saying degen so many times, you can get degen a token as a reward, a daily reward, if you post on Farcaster 3 times per day and you get engagement on your posts, then you get degen rewards. And that has led degen to be up. It's up like 95%, over 160 million market cap now. So you're seeing a lot of speculation happening on Farcaster and a lot of people jumping into a hype cycle. So I don't know about you, Kai, but my hype cycle alarms are going off right now.
I was just going to say, my alarm's going off for sure. Anytime you see a chart like this, one, it's not sustainable. And two, just Farcasters, what they're building is amazing. I have nothing against that. I think they're building something really cool. Their app is incredible. It is really good. There is good conversations on Farcasters. Like, don't get me wrong, it's great. But there's not 40,000 real people that are on there actually being active. As soon as you open it up for free, you bring in bots. Web3 is just filled with these bots and airdrop farmers. And people know they can farm degen. There's probably other tokens that will come. There's a bunch popping up now on Farcaster. Look, this idea of being able to integrate tokens into social is pretty cool, right? Like, they can basically just, because your account is on chain and is a wallet, you can just like, someone likes a post on Farcaster and you can auto just like give them a token. Like, you can't do this on Twitter. You can't do this on Facebook, Instagram, et cetera. So like, there are some really cool things at play here. And I think you need these random degens and farmers and stuff to come in to go and like play with them and test them and see how it all works and is it scalable and et cetera. So like, I think that's what they're doing here by opening this up, is like, we know this is a bunch of bots. We know this is a bunch of farmers, but we just want to like see what happens when a bunch of people come in and like, let's start to play with it. Many of these are probably real people. They're just like people that are not going to bring real engagement and real content onto Farcaster. So the one thing that this worries me of is like, look, when someone uses, I don't know, Aave or whatever DeFi protocol, right? Think of Solana right now. Everyone's using MarginFi and Camino, et cetera. And you put in this like rewards incentive where a bunch of farmers come in and they start putting their capital into these protocols. It doesn't impact me as a user. In fact, it makes my experience better because there's more liquidity in those protocols so that it becomes cheaper to use, right? And so like, that's all great. Farmers can actually be a really good thing for the allocation of capital, right? The problem, I think, is when it's a social network, when there are a bunch of farmers on my social network and bots, it does impact my experience in a negative way, not in a positive way. And so I'm just a little concerned about what happens here and what they're planning to do on this. I just remember when Lens had this rumor of them having a token. So Lens Protocol, the sort of main competitor of Farcaster, they had a rumor last year about launching a token, and we were heavily using Lens at the time. And all of a sudden, our engagement went up like 20, 30x. And I was like, okay, this is not real. We started checking out, like doing some tracking and stuff to see who was coming off site. And it was like next to no one. So it was all fake. And we had these fake comments, fake likes, whatever. And then eventually, and this is all farmers, once they said, hey, we're not launching a token, this is true, it all went away. And I was like, okay, this is a bit ridiculous. And so I'm just a little concerned to see what happens with Farcaster, because Farcaster had been just predominantly crypto native people. Like, you have Balaji, you have Vitalik all on there, and just like only crypto native people. So it was like a really great way to speak to people that there's not a bunch of bots and stuff like on Twitter. And I'm just afraid when you open it up for free like this and you start promising tokens, I don't know what that's going to do for the social network. So, I mean, we'll see it play out, but I wouldn't get too psyched. I mean, you can't invest in Farcaster anyway because you don't have a token, but I'm just a little bit concerned. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point. Social networks are meant to be places where we see what we all care about, right? The social decides, we decide what rides with the top. If our behavior is impacted by money, then we are going to behave in a different way than we would behave if it's just impacted by our feelings or our thoughts or our likes, right? So I think the social science of this is going to be fascinating to see play out. I think both Kai and I, very bullish on decentralized social, really believe in that space. It's just so early. It's fun to see all these experiments and see the impact. The other thing that was a cool experiment is Base announced that they wanted to reward the 20,000 earliest Farcaster users. And because Farcaster exists on wallets, they can do this. They can easily go and see who are the first 20,000 wallets that signed up for Farcaster, and they rewarded them with some TYBG tokens. You got like 8,000 TYBG tokens. Web3 Academy, we got this because we were early on Farcaster. It's worth like $1. So this was not an airdrop meant to create a bunch of hype or something like that. But this is Base. It actually came from the Base Institute. And this is them experimenting with different ways to reward early on chain users. And it also was a way to get this token that they've launched into the hands of people that they see as being the ones that they want to have this token. So really cool to see on-chain permissionless rewards happening in live time. A lot more will come out in that as brands start to learn that this is possible with wallets as your login.